Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. And you better stick around because what I'm about to share could shake things up big time for anyone holding Iraqi dinar or watching the forex markets closely. I'm talking about something that looks like it could change everything contract rates for the Iraqi dinar appearing on actual bank screens. Yes, real banking channels. That could mean the wheels are turning for a possible revaluation. So stay with me. We're breaking it all down in simple, clear English. No complicated jargon, no fluff. Just the facts and what they could mean for you and me. By the end of this video, you'll have a full picture of why investors worldwide are buzzing what this update could trigger, what to watch for next, and how to approach all this calmly and smartly. All right, let's start by understanding exactly what we're seeing. When I say contract rates appearing on bank screens, I mean internal banking systems are reportedly showing exchange rate values for the Iraqi dinar that weren't there before, official numbers being prepared for potential trades. This doesn't mean the dinar is automatically being revalued or that any exchange or redemption has started, but it is a signal. Think of it like the first time a finish line appears in a race, it doesn't guarantee you've crossed it, but you know the race is real and you're getting close. For those who've held dinar for years, watching forums, reading rumors, and waiting for signs, this is a different level. It's not hearsay anymore. It's something inside the system quietly lining up, and that alone changes the conversation. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but haven't we heard rumors like this before? Yes, many times. People posting insider intel, hearsay, predictions, sometimes months, even years ago, and every time it fizzled or nothing happened. That's why many dug back into their pockets, got cynical, or simply moved on. So why should this time be different? That's exactly the reason we need to approach this carefully. The difference now is what we're talking about isn't some random message in a forum or a vague whisper. This is about banks, institutions governed by rules, regulations, and large-scale systems. If they're showing contract rate numbers internally, that means someone high up authorized them. That gives this news a kind of legitimacy rumors don't have. It doesn't guarantee revaluation, but it gets us from maybe someday to maybe soon. Let me explain what a contract rate actually is, but in plain English, a contract rate is like a preview price, the value at which a bank is willing to exchange currency when things are formal. If you think of the dinar as a stock, this would be the internal bid-ask. That says, here's what we think this could be worth. EFGA when reopen trades. It's a baseline, a reference point. Banks use it internally to run calculations, prepare liquidity reports, handle international transfers, or plan for a revaluation event. For holders of dinar, seeing this rate means the system is checking its readiness. It's like maintenance crews saying, all systems go before launching a rocket. That doesn't mean liftoff is guaranteed, but it means everything down there is being double checked and lined up carefully. Let's talk timing. Why in 2025 are we seeing this now? Over the last few years, Iraq has gone through a series of economic measures, stabilizing oil revenues, trying to control inflation, and restructuring its banking and financial sectors. All necessary steps if you plan to reposition a national currency for international trade and investment. Currency revaluation isn't something you just flip on overnight. It requires coordination, regulatory frameworks, internal banking software, international compliance, currency reserves, and probably external partners to confirm legitimacy. So when we see contract rates appearing now, it could mean that the groundwork, the reforms, the audits, the systems have reached a stage where the country and its banks feel ready to move. That's significant. Why does this matter to you and me or anyone holding Dinar? Because if this revaluation or restructuring becomes official, the value of your holdings could shift dramatically. Right now, the Iraqi Dinar trades at a low, dormant rate in global forex markets. But if contract rates reflect a revaluation for domestic use or broader international circulation, it could boost demand, increase exchange value, and reopen redemption or conversion channels. That's why many long-term holders have been waiting patiently, some for years. But they needed proof the system is serious. Contract rate postings inside banks could be the smallest spark to ignite widespread movement. But hold on, and I really mean this, this is not a guarantee. It's a possible signal, not a promise. There are still many stages between seeing contract rates and having a fully tradable, globally recognized dinar. For example, official governmental approval, central bank announcements, regulatory compliance internationally, currency market acceptance, and possibly IMF or global financial institution oversight. The journey from internal bank screens to global forex markets is long and fraught. Mistakes, delays, external pressures, any of these could stall or derail the process. That's why it's important not to see this as jackpot, but as maybe worth watching. Balanced optimism, not blind faith. Now, let's break down exactly what might happen next if things continue on track. First, we could see more banking institutions, both inside Iraq and internationally, start showing these contract rates. As more institutions update software, the visibility of these numbers increases. Second, we might see public announcements from Iraqi regulatory bodies or the central bank confirming readiness, outlining plans for revaluation or reintroduction. Third, possibly, small-scale trading windows or controlled conversion channels might open, maybe for official transfers first, not necessarily for public holders. That would allow institutions to test market response, conversion protocols, compliance, and give a sense of demand versus supply. Fourth, if successful in that stage, broader international forex platforms might begin listing the dinar again, or at least preparing to. That's the flow from private banking systems to public financial market adoption. And we might be seeing the earliest steps of it now. Let's talk psychology, how all this plays into investor sentiment. A long-term holder who's watched rumors for years often becomes burnt out, skeptical, but seeing internal contract rates could reignite hope. That hope, if backed by caution, can lead to a community re-engagement, people researching more, watching for official signs, sharing information responsibly. That's a big shift from random hype to collective awareness. On the other hand, if word spreads without verification, it could lead to panic, sell everything, or it's happening now, which might cause chaos if the system isn't ready. So confidence built slowly with facts could lead to stable growth. But emotion-driven panic based on expectations rather than reality could hurt everyone involved. Let me be clear, if you're holding dinar or thinking about it, this development could feel huge. But that doesn't mean you should go all in, cash out, or make any big financial moves right away. This is a time for information gathering, for staying alert to credible announcements. Keep track of bank statements, watch for news from reputable sources, and avoid forums or hype-driven posts pushing guarantees. The difference matters. Smart investors don't act solely on excitement. They wait for confirmation. They assess risk. They prepare strategies. If contract rates turn into official action, you'll be glad you stayed calm. If not, well, you'll avoid losses. Either way, being prepared and informed is key. Now, you may wonder, what does this mean for global markets? If the dinar is revalued and becomes tradable internationally again, that could attract foreign investors, individuals, funds, institutions. They might see opportunity, a low-cost currency suddenly repositioned, possibly undervalued relative to global demand. That could lead to capital influx, increase in foreign trade activity, and possibly greater economic stability in Iraq. For global forex markets, it adds another active currency, which means increased volatility but also potential diversification. It could affect oil, trade contracts, regional commerce, remittances, and even investor portfolios globally. In other words, the ripple effects go beyond local holders. This is global if it moves forward properly. Of course, there are risks. Any misstep, economic instability, political interference, external pressure, lack of international trust could derail this. If contract rates are released prematurely before currency reserves or reforms are fully ready, it could backfire. It could damage confidence, freeze liquidity, create banking panic, or even lead to devaluation. That's why even if contract rates are posted internally, the people running the system have to be extremely careful. What looks like a blast of good news could turn messy. That's the delicate balance they face, and why so many eyes are on them now. So what can you do now if you hold Iraqi Dinar? First, stay calm. Don't panic, buy, or panic, sell. This isn't the guarantee of revaluation, it's a signal. Second, pay attention, watch for official announcements from central banks, governments, or credible financial institutions. Third, protect what you have. If your dinar is in notes or in accounts, keep records, receipts, serial numbers if relevant, and stay organized. Fourth, prepare a plan. If, when conversion or trading becomes available, will you convert to a different currency, reinvest in something else, hold for long term? Have scenarios ready. Finally, avoid hype-driven decisions. If someone offers guaranteed returns or claims, it's happening tomorrow, treat it cautiously. You want verified facts, not fast promises. Now, for those watching and perhaps skeptical, yes, this could all end in nothing. It could be a test run inside banks that never materializes, or it could delay indefinitely. That's the reality. But there's also a possibility, a real one, that this marks the beginning of a long-awaited change. The difference between hope and hype is in what we do next. Watch, verify, and think ahead. Don't get carried away by optimism, but don't dismiss it out of hand either. Keep eyes open, mind sharp, and be ready. Let's talk about what you should watch for next. A credible sign would be an official statement from an Iraqi regulatory body or central bank announcing that they are preparing for revaluation or reintroducing the dinar into international trades. That would shift this from rumor with bank screens to official policy step. Another sign would be banks opening controlled conversion windows, maybe starting with large-scale institutional transactions, then expanding. Also watch for international currency exchanges listing the dinar again, or at least announcing intentions to. If you see banks within and outside Iraq updating their systems to integrate new exchange rate tables, that's a big green flag. But if things remain quiet or internal rates vanish or change, that's a red flag. The next weeks and months will be crucial. For long-term holders who haven't checked their holdings in years, now might be a good time to dust off those notes, verify their condition, serial numbers if needed, and ensure safe storage, especially if these are physical notes kept for years, sometimes in boxes, closets, or safe boxes. Condition and documentation matter. If a revaluation happens, damaged or unverified notes could be rejected. So take inventory now. Know exactly what you have. This way you'll be ready if and when things move forward. Being caught off guard during a roller coaster moment is the last thing you want. Preparation is your best friend. Let's also consider potential wider economic impact inside Iraq. If the dinar becomes revalued and starts circulating more broadly, it could strengthen the domestic banking system. That could attract foreign investment, encourage trade, and stimulate infrastructure development. For regular people, remittances from abroad might become more powerful. Export and import markets could become more stable, and the cost of international goods might shift. A revalued currency could mean more purchasing power for Iraqis, especially for imported goods. But again, only if handled carefully. Rapid transitions in currency value can cause inflation, distort markets, or lead to social instability. So even if this process begins, it might come with growing pains. That's why planning, transparency, and regulation matter more than hype. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not here to tell you to go all in or to guarantee revaluation. I am not offering financial advice or promises. What I'm offering is information, something to think about, watch carefully, and respond to with intelligence. If you hold Dinar, use this moment as a cue to look after your holdings, stay alert, and plan ahead. And if you don't, maybe watch from the sidelines, see how things develop, or just stay informed. But don't make big moves based on excitement. That's not smart strategy, that's gambling. And for long-term gains, strategy beats emotions every time. Let's talk mindset, how to stay level, headed through all this. It's easy to get swept up in hypes. Dinar is going to the moon. We're all rich next month. That's emotional reaction. But smart holders approach this like a chess game. Think several moves ahead, evaluate risk as reward, recognize that anything could happen, good or bad. Keep expectations realistic. Stay patient. Treat this as a waiting period. Watching contract rates appear might feel like the first down payment, but you haven't received the final check yet. And in finance, rush decisions often lead to regret. So stay cool, stay alert, and stay prepared. If you're part of online communities or forums discussing this, great, but be cautious. Share information, discuss calmly, but don't spread hype as fact. If you see someone claiming it's happening tomorrow, ask, what's your source? Demand verification. Encourage healthy skepticism. Growing communities of informed investors help each other avoid pitfalls. On the flip side, hype-driven communities can lead to panic buying, misinformation, and collective mistakes. You don't want to be part of a frenzy. Be part of a thoughtful movement. Knowledge, not noise, should guide you. As we move forward, I'll do my best to stay updated with credible developments. If contract rates shift, disappear, or official announcements happen, I'll share the info here for you. But I encourage you to keep your ears to the ground. Watch bank system updates, currency market platforms, international financial news outlets. Have a spreadsheet if you want track dates, bank names, rate values, notice any changes. If you keep calm and organized, then regardless of what happens, you're in a strong position. Preparation always beats panic. Okay, let's run through how you might choose to react depending on different scenarios. Scenario 1, contract rates become official. Conversion windows open. Dinar becomes tradable internationally. In that case, you might decide to convert some or all of your dinar holdings, reinvest in stronger currency, or hold for future growth. Scenario 2, internal rates stay, but nothing further happens for months. In that case, hold, wait, watch for economic signals. Ensure your holdings remain intact. Scenario 3, contract rates disappear or get changed. That could indicate external pressure, economic instability, or banking hesitation. In that case, maybe consider minimizing exposure, selling at current value, or rethinking strategy. Scenario 4, partial movement, maybe small banking changes, but no full conversion. In that case, stay alert, track changes, and stay ready. Having these scenarios in mind gives you control. You won't feel blindsided. You'll know what to do. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you, still no guarantees. This could end in disappointment. But what we're seeing contract rate appearances inside bank systems is real and it warrants attention. For many holders, this might revive hope. For others, it might feel like deja vu. That's okay. What matters is what we do next. Be informed, be patient, be prudent. Emotions might rush us, but discipline saves us. If this revaluation path plays out, it could be historic. But if it doesn't, by staying calm and smart, you avoid costly mistakes. That's the difference between a hopeful gambler and a careful investor. So here's the bottom line. We're at a crossroads. The appearance of contract rates on bank screens is a significant signal. Maybe it's the green light for something big. Maybe it's just a test. Only time will tell. But the fact it's happening, that should grab your attention. If you hold Iraqi Dinar, get ready. Watch for official signs, gather information, protect what you have, and plan what you might do next. Don't act on emotions. Act on strategy. That's your best bet. If this video helped you see things more clearly, give it a like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any further updates. Feel free to comment below. What are your thoughts? Are you a long-term holder? Are you hopeful or skeptical? Let's talk it out, but respectfully with facts. Share your experience. Share what you're seeing. Help others stay informed, because when investors stay quiet and isolated, rumors grow. But when we stay connected and wise, we stay protected. Thank you all for watching. Keep your eyes open, keep your mind sharp, and until next time, stay calm, stay alert, and stay ready. The world is watching the dinar, and if what we're seeing now becomes real, it could be a moment none of us ever forget.